Also recording. Okay, YouTube's going now. All right, so I am, let's see, I'm going to call to order the Region 9 Board of Education regular meeting at official 7:35 p.m. Via Zoom. And I don't have our executive order. Mike, do you know the executive order that we're under now? The new one?
We are being held being held remotely pursuant to revisions to FOI Act. The FOI.
There we go. Thank you. We're gonna have to add that to the agenda so I can read that off. I was gonna say EO7B, but that's no longer.
No, it's not 7B anymore. There's been revisions to the act that the legislature made. So
excellent. All right. So we are now live. We are we've got board members in attendance, Cheryl Graziano, Juliet, Mike, Gwen, Karen, Mary Lee, and Maureen. So we've got everybody, I believe, on from the board, and from the administration, Dr. Pearson-Ugal and Dr. McMorrin. All right, so we're going to go ahead to the first item of business, which is approval of minutes from the following meeting. So there are 4 of them. The June 22nd, 2021 Regional 9 Board of Education regular meeting, the June 30th, 2021 ER9 Joint Boards of Education special meeting, the July 6th, 2021 ER9 Joint Boards of Education special meeting, and the July 8th, 2021 Region 9 Board of Education special meeting. So we've got 4 of them there. I'll take them as a block or individually, however people would like to make the motions. And then we can do edits and comments. I see Mike's hand up.
So I'll move that we approve the minutes from the June 22nd Region 9 regular meeting, from the June 30th, 2021 ER9 Joint Boards of Education special meeting, from the July 6th, 2021 ER9 Joint Boards of Education special meeting, and from the July 8th, 2021 Region 9 Board of Education meeting as amended.
Excellent. All right. Do I have a second? Cheryl for the second. All right. All right. Any discussion? Any other changes? Comments? I see Mary Lee. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah. On the July 8th one, there's and my comment that was wrongly attributed. I'm not sure who said that, but that wasn't my comment. And I don't remember the whole comment, but it wasn't about the tri-board structure.
Okay.
Where are we?
It's page 4 of 4 on the July 8th. It's just the NPAMPL on top of the page.
Okay. Well, we can strike that if no one else wants to lay claim.
Maybe. So page. All right. Does anybody kind of attribute the comment to themselves? Otherwise, we'll strike it so we can approve.
I also have one suggested edit to the.
All right. So we'll go ahead and strike that one unless anybody's claiming that comment.
No one's taking ownership.
Okay. So we'll strike that one from being attributed to Mary Lee. We'll take the whole comment out. Okay. Mike, you had another edit?
Yes, and it's very brief. Where is it? It's also in the July 8th minutes under discussion possible action on the JBHS HVAC and safety improvement project. And I thought this was important because it said the new equipment and duct work will be completed when the work on the gym floor is started. And I think that should say before the work on the gym floor is started.
Okay.
That's the, but I might have been less than clear on that one because there was a lot of information.
Okay. Got it. All right, any other changes across any of the minutes?
I do have something going back to the minutes from June 22. This is this is a clarification edit with respect to the audit. It is on page, no, I lost the page. So page 3 of 4 in those minutes indicated that a recent audit by the state discovered 93,230,37. That's not the way that was discovered. That was identified by the administration during the audit, and it was appropriately, so the auditors didn't discover it. It was kind of just really, I guess, discovered in the conjunction with the audit. So but it leads to the reader to believe that we filed statements, but then they were found after the fact, but it was found during the audit. I think is probably the best way to.
Which page was that on again?
This is page 3 of 4. And it wasn't a state audit. It's just a normal annual review. Management and auditors agreed to this adjustment or needed to determine that 93,230 needed to go back to the towns.
Okay, got it. Noted. We'll make that change. Any other changes or comments? All right, seeing none others. Here, Mike, your original motion had as amended in it, so I don't think
That's
we
why
need to
I
add that.
did
You're
that.
thinking ahead. I like that. Keep us moving. So we don't need to change the motions since we've got some amendments here. So any other discussion? Otherwise, we'll go ahead and call the question and vote on the 4 minutes. Over there. All right. All in favor of the minutes as amended, say aye. Just looking around, I can see everybody, so it looks unanimous. Everybody's in favor, so minutes pass as amended unanimously. All right, then we'll move to the next item, public comment. So item 3 on the agenda. So any member of the public would like to comment, please raise your hand symbol in the participant chat or wave in your window there. We'll call on you, limit your, announce yourself, name and address. Please limit your comments to 2 minutes and related to items on the agenda. And there'll be another public comment section at the end so, as well. All right, so I'm looking here quickly. I don't see any members of the public wishing to comment. Any other board members see anyone?
No.
It's easier to do tonight. We're not across like 5 pages of windows and tiles to look through. Much easier. Okay, so seeing no public comment, we'll move on to item 4, board member comment. Mike.
Thank you. So I'd like to use my board member comment tonight to express my appreciation to Juliette Berry for her service to the Region 9 board. This may be her last meeting. I know it's probably the last regular board meeting that she will be with us. And I think it's important for us to recognize, as we have over the last several meetings, the extensive work of the chairs, the extensive work of the administration and the staff, all board members with the late meetings. But it's also important to recognize that I think in my 2 years as chair, I had half as many meetings as we had in this 1 year. And Juliette was there. You know, we threw her into the fire when she came on the board, and we made her the board secretary, and she had no idea that we were going to have 50,000 meetings in 1 year, and that she was gonna, you know, and so I just think that it's really important for us to recognize her and to thank her for her exemplary service to our board, and to wish her well in her future endeavors. But thank you, Juliette, for all you've done for us.
Yes, we'll second that. Thank you. All right, other board member comment? Cheryl, go ahead.
Thank you, Juliet, as well for your first service and for being board secretary. And I do want to thank the central office and the Barlow staff for their phenomenal work under these truly unprecedented times and the transition that's going on within the district. So I do want to thank the staff that's not on the phone, that's on the phone, and thanks Dr. McMorrin for helping us out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maureen? Oh,
I
sorry.
too just wanted to briefly thank Juliet. She has had the most tedious and thankless job during this pandemic. And I appreciate that. And welcome back, Tom.
Yeah, I was also going to say welcome to Tom and thank you for coming on board.
Yep. Just good luck, Juliet, in your new home, and we hope we see you around town at some point. And welcome back, Tom. It's nice to see you. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Excellent. Thank you. And anyone else? I'll just throw in again. Thank you, Julia. Oh, sorry, Gwen, go ahead.
Just what they said.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes, and I'll throw in my thanks as well for Juliet for all the minutes and there were a lot of them this year and great detail. And when I had to do them when you weren't at a meeting, it was very painful. So thank you for all your hard work and keeping up on everything, because we did have a lot of long meetings and you take very good notes on all of those and very accurate. So we appreciate that, plus all your other feedback and comments on the decisions we've had to make over the past couple of years. So thank you for that input, as well as your secretary abilities and keeping us well informed of minutes and what happened before. And Tom, welcome back again, back into the fire. So thank you for accepting that, and we look forward to working with you. Any other board member comment? Otherwise, we'll move on to administrative reports. All right, seeing none, then let's go to administrative reports. I don't think we have too many. There were a couple items in the materials that went out, but I don't know if Dr. Morin or Dr. Pearson, or if there's any of them that you want to cover.
Let me go first, Stephanie, if you don't mind. Since I have been back on the job since 7 a.m. this morning, I can report to you that I've been to all 5 of the schools and central office and spoken with administrators and summer school teachers and custodians and other folks. And if I could just take 1 second, I noticed, I've noted how many new families have moved into Easton and Reading. And what I want to tell them is, as someone who has had the privilege and the honor to work in Easton and Reading for a total of 16 years, you've made a good choice. Joe Barlow High School is well cared for by this board. I remind you all that those of you in the public, this is all volunteer work, and these folks put in their hearts and souls to the well-being of our kids. You have faculty that is eager to get back in with the kids and see them, and you have an administration that's working hard this summer. It's been, as some of you might remember, my retirement had to do with the well-being of members of my family. I'm glad to say that my own mother and father are okay. We have had members of our family with COVID. We have some now who are struggling with it, but being back with you it's both a challenge and a privilege for me. I'm very grateful that I have this opportunity. There are so many good people in the town of Easton and Reading, and as the emotions are running, I just ask everybody to remember that you have great neighbors, you have great people that live in both towns, and wonderful students, and let's think about them. Juliet, I'm sorry, we only overlapped just a little bit, but thank you for your service too, and we'll do the best to help build a bridge to your new leadership team. So thank you, and over to Stephanie.
And so I will just provide the non-update from the reopening, the reopening office that is also the curriculum and instruction office, which is that we certainly had hoped by this point in the summer we would have the guidance from the state needed to finalize our reopening plans. While the state Department of Public Health and combined State Department of Education did have a meeting this morning, they have yet to finalize that guidance. So we are still waiting on that guidance. And certainly as soon as we have it, we can distinguish between what's required and where we have some options and flexibility, and then we can firm up our plans for reopening.
Thank you. We're all looking forward to that. I know we've got a lot of big decisions ahead of us over the next couple of months, so we look forward to whatever guidance we get to help us with those. So thank you.
In the meantime, since some of you, I'm sure, are raising these questions in your head, we are taking inventory of supplies that we might need to begin the year, including PPE, any cleaning supplies and such, so that we are well prepared when that guidance arrives.
Excellent, because those are going to be some of the first questions that we're asking. What do you need? So we can make sure we got budget allocation for it. So great, glad we're getting ahead of that. All right, with that, we'll move on to item 7 on the agenda, discussion possible action. And the first item, item A, resignation of board member Juliet Berry on July 31, 2021, and announcement of replacement to fill the vacant seat. So as you all heard, that Juliet's last day with us will be on the 31st of July. She's provided her resignation as of moving out of state, which is a requirement of our bylaws that the board members need to be residents in state and in Easton. So unfortunately, with her moving, she has to resign and vacate her seat. And then for people in the public that may not be aware how our bylaws on Region 9 differ from the other boards of education in the other districts. Our replacements for resignation are done by the selectmen of the town. So in our case, the Easton selectmen have the opportunity to appoint a replacement. And according to our bylaws 9222, that we have no party affiliations or splits besides the town splits of 4 and 4 on our board of 8. So the selectmen are allowed to appoint from whichever party they choose. They have made, they're looking to make an appointment to fill the vacant seat starting on the 1st of August. So Juliet's in her seat and can attend all meetings and vote until the 31st. And then our new person joining the board, Sarah Lieberger, who is on as well, will officially take over at the beginning of August and be able to participate in the meetings and vote and so forth. So if anyone has any other questions or want to add anything else in our process here, but I did want to make it clear to the public how our process is a little different than the other boards of education when we have a vacancy by resignation. Then I'll ask Mike. I think I got that all right. Mike is a person that knows our bylaws better than me.
Yes, and as a regional school district, there's no minority representation, so it's nonpartisan appointment. So
Exactly.
Todd,
Okay. Yes.
do we then have to vote on a secretary, or is it?
We will have to replace the secretary position, yes, on the 1st of August. We don't have to do that. Yeah, I was just saying we don't have to do that right now, since Juliet would be secretary till the 31st to cover any of our meetings, personnel search meetings, or anything else. But as of the 1st of August, when Sarah joins us officially, if she would like to take on that role, we could provide that. But we have a secretary till the end of the month.
Same thing for committees, Todd.
Yes, we'll make changes and appointments to committees on the 1st of August as well.
Got it. Thanks.
Yep. Okay, nothing else then. And again, thank you, Juliet. And Sarah, we welcome you on the 1st of August to join the board. So appreciate stepping up and accepting the appointment from the selectmen. So thank you for that. Item B then, disbursement, destruction of outdated chemistry books.
I'll take that one.
Okay,
So we have been informed by our STEM department chair, JT Shem, of their need to follow Board of Education Policy 3260 in terms of the disbursement or destruction of textbooks. This is a chemistry textbook that will no longer be used. In the budget, you might remember that you have approved the purchase of new chemistry textbooks. These textbooks are from 2002 and unfortunately do not have a resale market. There are no suppliers looking to purchase these used textbooks. So we're asking for the board to authorize their end of life.
all right, so we need a motion for the, I guess the disbursement, destruction of the books. Okay. All right. Like a board member like to make such a motion? I guess saw Mike's hand up, but I don't know if that was a
gonna
question
ask
or a motion.
question before the motion, but that's fine if you want to have the motion first.
Well, why don't we do the motion? Because it seems like it's a pretty straightforward motion.
So I'll move that the Region 9 Board of Education instruct the staff to disperse or destroy the outdated chemistry books.
Okay, we have a second. Mary Lou?
Second, Gwen.
All right, so second, I heard Gwen, so I'll go with that. I think that. So Mike is the second. Okay, now discussion. So Mike, you have.
Yeah, so my question was obviously, once we got past whether or not they have value, the second question would be, can we give them to a priority school district or is there anyone who can use them that we can allow them to come pick them up, or that we could somehow be able to provide learning opportunities for other students? Or are they just so outdated that they have absolutely no value whatsoever and they need to be destroyed? And so that's just my question.
Yes, and it's a good question, and that is typically what we do when we have textbooks that are not literally falling apart. We try and get them in the hands of people in other districts that might be able to use them if they have, similar needs. So I will check in with Mr. Shem. I don't know the answer to that question. It's not in the memo that I have.
Stephanie, if I could make a suggestion, there's a school in Bridgeport called Catholic Academy that is mostly run on scholarship for Bridgeport children. And I don't know, what their status is as far as their materials, but they might be a good resource. They're from kindergarten through high school.
Thank you, Karen. I'll pass that information on to Mr. Shem.
All right. Other questions, comments? I think our motion, the way it was worded, I think is still sufficient based on research that you might do, Dr. Pearson Google, but so I don't think we need to restate it unless, Mike, you feel like you need to restate your motion.
No, I think we left it open that they can disperse or destroy or destruct them based on.
Excellent. All right, then if no other discussion, then we'll vote on the motion. All in favor on dispersing or destroying of the books, raise your hand. And Gwen, I see you as well. Thank you. So it passes unanimously. All right. Then moving on, we'll go to the next item. Item C, Easton Learning Foundation grant approval.
Yeah, so this is actually pretty exciting news. The Easton Learning Foundation has awarded a grant to the science department, specifically for the physical science Earth Dynamics freshman year course for augmented topographical mapping, which is some digital technology that allows kids to look at how maps form topography, watersheds, natural hazards, how physical environments develop. And I really can't tell you much more than that. I had a brief conversation today with both the teacher and the department chair, but they were pretty chuffed by it. And so what we're asking for, because the board needs to take a motion to accept any grant or donation. This is in the amount of $7,502.14. And so we're looking for a motion to accept the donation.
All right, I'll open that up to any board member who'd like to make a motion to accept the grant for $7,502 and how many cents? 14 cents from ELF for what was it?
Augmented topographical mapping.
Augmented topographical mapping. All right, I'm looking for a motion to accept that grant generously from ELF.
So moved, Cheryl.
Cheryl, thank you. And the second.
Second.
All right, Mary Lee, thank you. All right, any further discussion around the grant or questions?
I just want to tell you a little bit about it because I saw the video.
Oh, great.
It is the coolest thing. It's basically this giant sort of sandbox. It has special sand in it, and it has a projection system on top of it. And when you manipulate the sand, it makes like mountains and rivers, but it looks exactly like a 3D topographical map, and it is really fascinating to watch it move and watch how they change it. When you move the sand one way, literally water will flow through, and it's very cool, and I think they're going to really enjoy that.
Excellent. That sounds like fun. Do we get a tour? Get to see it?
I hope so, because it's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to
We're
Al.
going to have a demo if they can bring the sandbox into the library, or we can do it over Zoom.
We're hoping that middle school might want one. So
Excellent. All right. Any other questions, discussions on the ELF grant? All right. Seeing none. All
No.
in favor?
Well, so,
Oh, sorry, Mike.
sorry, and it's more process oriented. So first, yes, with great appreciation, we thank the grant, but just so that we're all aware, I think roll calls are required under the new revisions to the FOIA Act. So we can't raise our hands. We have to do a roll call and do each name.
Good to know. I'll then call the roll for the vote. All right. I'll start down through the list then. Cheryl.
Sorry, I'm mute. Yes.
All right. Juliet.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Gwen.
Yes.
Thank you, Gwen. Karen.
yes.
Mary Lee.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
And I vote yes. So motion carries 8-0 unanimously. All right.
Thank you to Al.
Yes. Thank you, Elf. And we do look forward to the demo.
We will work on the demo for you.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Moving on then, our next item D, under discussion, possible action, head of school search update. So just quickly, the head of school personnel search committee, which is made up of all the Region 9 board members, met this evening prior to this meeting to review the request for proposals responses that we received back. So just again, for the public, for clarification, we've started our search process back when Dr. Penn put in her notice of retiring, and we hired a consultant then and went through some interviewing with some candidates. We've since decided to continue our search and have opened it back up for additional candidates and for additional consultants. We've had a couple of responses from consulting firms, and the PSC, the Personnel Search Committee, met this evening to talk about those responses from the consultants and process moving forward. We will, I'll look for a motion to move forward with one of the consulting firms that we decided in the Personnel Search Committee, which is a non-meeting. So it's, again, was one with all the board members included, but not public, and that's by nature of personnel search committees for a regional district. We're allowed to do that. So I'm going to open it up for discussion, and then I'd look for a motion around the search consultant. So if any other board members would like to add any commentary about the process, as much as we can at this point, but or otherwise, like I said, I'll look for a motion to move forward with the search consultant so that we can continue moving forward with our process of finding a candidate and establishing a timeline and so forth. Mike, go ahead.
So I'll make the motion to authorize the administration to accept the proposal from JRE Consulting with a base contract price of $8,000.
Second,
Just to
Maureen.
clarify,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I think it's just JE Consulting.
Is it JE? Did I say JRE?
Yeah, I think it's just JE.
You sure?
Let's check that.
We should make sure. I don't know where I thought I had JRE.
I'm looking through email. Does somebody have it handy?
It is JE Consulting.
Just JE.
Consulting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary Lee. I stand corrected.
Yep, you're sitting corrected, but you know.
Well, you can't tell. It's Zoom. I could be standing.
It's all fireplace. All right,
Yes, thank you, JE.
JE Consulting, and the amount up to 8,000.
Base contract price of $8,000.
All right, so that was Mike, and I think I heard two voices for the second, so just clarify.
I was
the
one of
second.
them.
Maureen, all right. Maureen is the second. All right, any further discussion or comments around search process or consulting firm? All right, seeing none, then we'll move on to a vote on the motion. And since I have to do roll call, I'll go back through the roll. We'll start out with Cheryl again.
Yes.
All right, Juliet. On mute.
Oops, sorry. Yes.
That's all right. Yes. All right. Mike,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Mary Lee,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes,
and I'll vote yes. So motion carries 8-0. All right. And moving right along, our next item is item E, recognition of retiring faculty. So I'm going to turn this over to Dr. McMorran, but just again, for the record and for the public, we look to recognize the retiring faculty from Barlow at our last meeting. We didn't have a complete list, so we deferred it to this meeting. And we did recognize the retiring faculty at the graduation ceremony, but we always like to do it in public in one of our board meetings. So I'll hand it over to Dr. McMorran to go through the list. We have quite a long list of people that have provided many, many years of service to our high school and our district. So we do want to recognize them. So Dr. McMorran.
Yes, thank you. It's quite a list, and I'm proud and pleased to be able to tell you about it, having worked with all these folks. My own father was an enlisted man in the Air Force back in the day, and he will tell you, and I think most people who have served in the armed forces will tell you, that it's the master sergeants and the enlisted folk that make the Army work, or the other service. And a lot of the people who have retired or left are support staff. We used to just generically call them paraprofessionals, but these are the people that supported the students, the teachers, the learning process, and I'd like to go through them. With 21 years as both a special education teacher, assistant, and a behavioral technician in our EEE program, Barbara Bloom has retired. The voice of Barlow, many of us have spoken with her over the last 18 years, is Beverly Doby, who was always there in the main office to greet and guide people, has retired. The man who led so many kids through advanced math and physics and was the enthusiastic math club and chess club advisor with 38 years. Michael Exedy has retired. And then in our counseling program, our coordinator, really the heart of the counseling department, Debbie Farrell, who served for 22 years, we happen to know is happily off in Utah with her near to her beloved grandchildren. For 21 years, the nursing office was ably staffed by Anne Marie Gorman, who has a total of 42 years as a nurse, the last half with us. Our technology assistant teacher for special services worked in all 3 districts, was Laura Langloy with 35 years. And then the amazing Susan Manley, who was the administrative assistant in Samuel Staples for a number of years before she came to Barlow as the administrative assistant for special education, an enormously important job, which she did with such attention to detail and with such generosity of spirit. 21 years at Barlow, Susan Manley has served. And we were so fortunate when a retired police officer came in to serve as our security paraprofessional and was with us for 21 years. That's Tom Smith. Also Karen Sullivan, who was a speech and language pathologist at Barlow for 19 years. And of course, as you know, having just discussed the search for a new head of school, Dr. Pinn joined Barlow in 2008 and has retired with 36 years of experience. So it's such a group of, it's like the premier graduating class of folks who've worked so hard for Barlow. And they also take with them so much corporate knowledge about how the school functions that we need to all give their replacements a little bit of breathing space to get up to speed on their time. But I also want to just underscore that the unique atmosphere of Joe Barlow High School, that once people come there, they really want to stay for the rest of their careers. It's a great place to be a member of the staff, a member of the faculty, a student, a member of a family, the community. And so with gratitude and having known all those folks, I can tell you how proud and pleased I am to have worked with them.
Thank you. And again, thank you to all of them for all their service over the years and everything they've done for our students and faculty in town. So we appreciate it. All right, that concludes our discussion on possible action items. So we'll move on to agenda item 8, which is public comment. So again, if any members of the public would like to say anything, wave your hand in your window or put up the hand in the chat area. Announce yourself, name and address. Limit your comments to 2 minutes to anything that we have on the agenda. It would be appreciated. All right, and again, this is so much easier when it's like one screen in front instead of having to scroll through things. I see none. No hands, nobody waving, no hand symbols up. So, all right, we will move on then to item number 9, board member comment. So any members of the board would like to comment? Juliet.
I just want to say thank you to everyone, that I've really enjoyed working with everybody, and I wish everybody the best of luck in the future.
All right, any other board members' comments? All right, seeing none, this may be a new record for us for meeting time.
Absolutely a record.
I call a good start.
Does anybody want to add anything to the agenda? I feel like all right, we're working summer hours, I see. Okay. All right, no other board member comment, then we will move to item 10, adjournment. For a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So move, Mike, a second.
Second, Karen.
Second, Karen, thank you. All right, do we have to do a roll
No.
call vote on this one too?
To adjourn. You can actually adjourn the meeting without the vote, but
All right, I was looking to extend time
Without an
by doing a roll
objection.
call, but we'll go ahead and adjourn without the vote. So thank you, everyone. We are now officially adjourned at 8:14 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Juliet.
thank you, Juliet.
Welcome,
Thank you,
Dr.
Juliet.
Thorne, and welcome, Sarah, in August. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.